You think you can defeat me with your puny katana? My sword's steel was folded 10,000 times. It can cut through diamonds. Oh, really? Well, I have nunchucks. Dude, those are ours. What? No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Bruce Lee used them. They're ours. Oh, yeah? Well, which martial arts are they from? Karate? Oh. Well, we still have Bruce Lee. Ah, but we have Mr. Miyagi and anime. Sun Wukong, and we were here first. You may have started it, but we perfected what you did. Set by someone who still can't do groundwork. Neither can you! Alright. Alright. When it comes to martial arts, the debate rages. Chinese martial arts were here first, but Japan perfected what they did. China had the warrior monks, while Japan had the samurai. And then Korea tries to interject and be part of the conversation.
Nobody likes you.
And it is always important to be objective, so today I will step over this metaphorical Mason-Dixon line as a respective Chinese martial arts enjoyer and take a look at what Japanese martial arts has to offer to see if there's any middle ground here. Now, as we're looking at Japanese martial arts, we first of all need to look at the history. And most of Japan's history is taken up by warfare, as well as the innovations that spring forth from it. This is what led to the China-born strategies morphing into the more notable samurai, as well as an evolution to the philosophy surrounding martial arts. Much of this knowledge would be kept to specific clans, kept hidden or secret. But even so, the necessities of the time brought about some commonalities. The reliance on horseback due to the terrain of the region also led to more need for horsebound archery.
Message for you, sir.
Strategies tailored to getting people off of horses. And in terms of close combat, wrestling. Grappling was a crucial component to samurai training, over time splitting into the two distinct camps of combat wrestling and sumo, which was more entertainment based and had been around for far longer. There was also a form of grappling which included a short sword in hand, most likely used for the common hobby of beheading opponents, as tallying the number of heads accrued. Well, when they tell you to get ahead in life, I'll see myself out. These grappling techniques later evolved, and out of which grew Jiu Jitsu. The actual formation of Jiu Jitsu is more in the realms of legends than fact, according to which it all began with a Chinese martial arts master named Chen Yuanbin, who had once been in Hanzu, but moved to Japan in his later years, as many would, apparently being highly respected by the Takugara clan. Chen, according to legend, had a dialogue with three masterless samurai, or ronin, which then snowballed into Jiu Jitsu, or the Chinese method of seizing a man. Evidence around this is sketchy, but it is safe to say that what happened was that Chinese techniques were mixed with Japanese grappling techniques to create Jiu Jitsu. But things began to change as warfare ended, as the Tokugawa shogunate took hold of Japan's rule in 1603. With this came an era in which the samurai no longer had any wars to fight, forcing the continually evolving crafts of the samurai to quickly solidify and become ritualized and formalized into sports. Forms of martial arts were lost as new rituals took over. The warrior class of the samurai retained their status, but had gone from sword fighting and beheading to tea drinking and playing board games as the bureaucracy of running a country took hold. But nothing lasts forever, as the Meiji Restoration took shape in 1868. With this restoration came a sudden jump in progression as modern ideas took hold, with more communication with the West. The old ways of the samurai were characterized as kabudo or karyu. Within a decade, the samurai were gone as the class was liquidated. Jiu-Jitsu, however, took hold quickly as a martial art. But martial arts are nothing if not continually adapting. Keino Jiguro was a slight individual, standing at 5'2" and weighing 90 pounds. He began learning Jiu-Jitsu as the modernization began. At the time, Jiu-Jitsu was not at the level of having dedicated spaces or recognized regulation. Instead, it was taught behind closed doors from former samurai or samurai-adjacent individuals. Keino found himself unsatisfied with the education of these first masters, finding holes in the techniques and not really agreeing with the teaching method of the time, which was get thrown around until you learn. Sounds like secondary school football. With this dissatisfaction, he broadened his surroundings by going to the library, finding examples of Western wrestling methods. Kano spent years subsidizing his Jiu Jitsu training with outside sources, and eventually became the inheritor to knowledge after his first two masters passed away, bequeathing him manuals and scrolls on the art form in 1881. Kano went to a third master in Kitu-Ryu Jiu Jitsu, receiving additional scrolls from this master in 1883. Let's just take a moment to realize how brilliant that is. He didn't accept the holes in the system he had inherited, and so he went outside of his regular wheelhouse of knowledge and found a new way. It's brilliant! All of this led to Kano no longer practicing the Jiu-Jitsu of his formers. He combined together everything he had learned to create a new martial art, the Pliant Way, also known as Judo. Now, Kano did not spend all his time doing martial arts. He also ran a black market weapons dealership. Oh, and he was also in the teaching sector. Having a hand at the Tokyo Teacher Training College, he saw the poor attitudes the boys attending school had around rules and respect, especially towards their teachers, who were weak-willed and subservient to these snot-nosed brats. Fortunately, he was in a position to do something about it. By judo throwing the brats and making them play Sega Saturn. Or by installing martial teachings into the teaching curriculum, with it, along with the values it taught, eventually becoming part of the school curriculum. Eventually, Kano installed a grading system into Judo, having his students graduate into black belts, and to give Judo the respect it deserved, he made his students wear a specific uniform. By 1909, including the Kaigogi, or Dogi, as Judo was a part of the school curriculum, this change was noticed quickly, and soon other martial arts joined the trend in its wake. The Gi also had the benefit of creating a communal spirit for students, as well as making all these students of different classes equal in lessons. Kano's presence in the education sector meant that many foreign eyes got to see Judo in action, and even give it a go themselves, including Lafcadio Hearn, who called Judo an example of how quickly Judo had adapted the Western ideals and its technological feats in only a generation. It was unfortunately also used to propel some mild racism by stating that although Judo was awesome, it still could not compare to the West, where it had been inspired. And this was all before World War II. And Judo has gone from strength to strength since then, becoming an Olympic sport and becoming recognised as a kabuto art. Much like another martial art. We travel now to the Ryukyu Islands. The islands were used as a trading route for Chinese ships since around 1372, being in more of a liminal spot between China and Japan. This was a natural point of crossover, especially as it held descendants of those who had migrated from China in the 14th century. The fabled bringing of the 36 families of China was said to bring many things to the islands, including martial arts, such as white crane style. The history of the Ryukyu Islands held many states of discourse, including the weapons ban, brought by King Shoshin in 1507, with it being said that many of the peasant class began learning self-defense underground, using household appliances, which is what led to the use of weapons such as the sai or nunchucks. No, I did not steal these from any turtles. Why do you ask? Another weapons ban came in 1609 by the Satsuma clan of Japan, leading to the again underground development of an empty-handed style of fighting based on Chinese styles, with the sole purpose of this being to survive. The more stylistic elements of the martial art were put aside in favor of pure effectiveness. In a coincided fashion, the Jiu Jitsu, which developed after the ritualization of wartime practices. They also allied with the Tangerine clan, but that's another topic. The China hand system, or Totei, or karate, began to surface to the world in the 19th century. Karate was adopted into the Ryukyu Island education system at around 1901, and like Judo, was considered a refinement of older styles. Where Judo and Kendo were being mandated in Japanese schools, Itoso Anko petitioned for karate to be considered as well, doing this despite karate at the time not having any standard or uniform style, with each school having their own. Only recently had Miyagi Shogun. Hold on a moment. Oh, that's brilliant! Defined his style as Goju Ryu, or the hard soft style. He nearly called it the wax on wax off style, but the connotations were a bit dicey. It was Funakoshi Gichin who finally brought the martial art to mainland Japan proper. He and his Shotokan school demonstrated their style in Kyoto in 1915, published a book in 1922, and officially moved his school to Tokyo that same year. In 1936, he popularized the name moving from karate to karate, or empty hand, making it more palatable to the nationalist Japanese government, although this did cause controversy with contemporaries. He also moved for standardization and rankings for karate schools, a move which again caused problems for many schools, which had so far relied on wealth and generational birthing for their reputation. But it all really worked out as karate became known as one of the most renowned Japanese martial arts worldwide. Doesn't mean it's the best though. Oh, come on. You're still telling me that after all of that, you're still going to sit on that high horse? Look, sure, your styles have done a lot, but we've got more history. History does not make it good. No, but it does leave an impact. Japanese styles have flourished in the relatively short time that they have been around, but the whole reason why they have flourished is due to the circumstances they began in, ritualizing and standardization. Now don't get me wrong, you sometimes need that linear path to measure against and give clear boundaries, especially when establishing that foundation. Yet at the same time, there is a merit to branching off into many different styles, variations in techniques, and creating this multicolored tapestry of culture. In the end, there is no better or worse camp. There's just differences in styles. Hell, even Chinese martial arts have their root in Indian martial arts. Maybe it's better not to be constantly fighting each other. Maybe it's time we started learning from each other. Not a chance. Now give me a straight answer. Chinese is better. Pressure point. Ugh. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, everyone, peace be with you.